In this episode of Video Show Me How, I'm going to show you how to change a flat tire, and it's easier than you think. Alright, so you come out in the morning, ready to go to work, and you see your tire flat, or maybe you're driving down the road and you feel it starting to go down. One thing's for sure, you're going to have to change it, otherwise you're not going anywhere. The good news is, it's super easy to do, and I'm going to show you how. Step 1, you need to pop the trunk. Once you've popped the trunk, you'll need to lift up the floor of the boot so it can expose the tools and your spare tire. Step 2 is grab the tools and take them around to the flat tire. Step 3, take out your spare tire. Now most cars will have a little screw mechanism like you can see here that you need to unscrew first so that it allows you to take the tire out. Alright, so now we've got our tools, we've got our spare tire, and you can see in here that it has lots of different types of tools. We've got screwdrivers, just like this one. This little thing here, which is a tow hook, in case you ever need to get your car towed, that's what that's for. Your car might have some different things in there, but essentially what we're going to need is a tire iron, which looks just like this. This is what we use to jack the car up, but also take the bolts off. This connects to your jack, and that's what swivels the jack up and down. Then of course, the main event is the jack underneath, and this is what we're going to use to lift up the car. So get your jack. Now you can see these are called a scissor jack, and there's a little slot there that's designed to hook into the bottom of the car to lift it right up. This part hooks in there, and then you use the tire iron that has a little slot in it on the end as a handle so that you can widen up the jack. Now, word of warning, read the warning labels that are on the jack. These aren't the most stable things in the world. They get the job done, but it's as always, make sure you're careful. Alright, so next step is you need to locate the jacking point for your car, and it may be different depending on what type of car you have. For this one, which is a Hyundai Elantra, it's just behind the front wheel. Alright, step 4. It's time to locate the jacking spot of your car. For us, it's just behind the front wheel, and it might be similar for yours too. We just need to have a look, just like you can see here. Next step is to slide the jack underneath and start twisting it up by hand. Now the aim here is to get the little slot in the jack in between the mounting point of the car. It's really important that you make sure the jack is nice and flush and straight on the floor, and that it's not on an angle. Step 5, it's time to jack up your car. So grab the tire iron and the hook, and then you want to place it in there like this and start jacking. There is a couple of different ways you can do this. Probably a better way to go here is to have the handle twisted around the opposite way so you can wind it with two hands. Now you want to raise the vehicle about 80% of the way there. The reason for that is we need to crack the wheel nuts before we lift it all the way off the ground. Otherwise, when we go to take the wheel nuts off, they won't come off and the wheel will just spin. Alright, step 6. We want to crack the wheel nuts, but don't remove them just yet. Essentially all we want to do is just loosen them off so we can finish jacking the car up and then remove them later. An easy way to remember how to undo things or tighten things up is just a little rhyme. You probably heard it before. It's lefty loosey, righty tighty. So as you can see here, we want to loosen them. So that means we want to twist to the left. Step 7, you want to finish jacking the car up off the ground so that the wheel, you can see some clearance underneath, and you can see that it's off the ground. Alright, before we do anything else and remove the tire, we want to make the jack as safe as it can, which means we want to remove the tire iron and the little hook bar so that we can make sure that we don't kick it with our feet accidentally. and it's as safe as it can be. So step 8, it's time to remove the wheel nuts. And remember, loosey left, loosey left. We want to spin to the left to remove the nuts. It's a really good idea that you put them all together off to the side so that you don't lose them when you go to put them back on. Alright, we're making progress. Step 9, we want to remove the wheel. Get into a good position here. Use your hands to basically lift and pull at the same time and pull that wheel right off. Great, so we've got the wheel off. Now you can see the wheel well. This is your disc brakes. This is the actual disc itself. Here's your strut tower, and that's essentially your suspension. And these are the wheel studs that bolts the wheel to the car. So step 10, we want to grab the spare wheel. Make sure it's facing the right way, obviously. You can't really go wrong there. And you want to lift it into place. Alright, step 11. It's time to screw the wheel nuts back in place. At this point, you just want to put them on by hand, screw them on a couple of things so that they don't fall off. We're going to tighten them after. Step 12, we want to snug the wheel nuts now. So grab your tire iron. Remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. So now we're tightening. So we want to go to the right. So just with your tire arm, swing the thing around until you feel it's starting to get a little bit of tension. We don't want to really tighten it down. Just at this point, we just want to snug the wheel up to the car. Alright, so now the tire's on the car, it's time to lower it down. So grab your hook rod, connect the tire iron, and then lower the vehicle back to the ground. Step 14, it's time to torque the wheel nuts. Now it's really important here that you do this in a star pattern, and as you can see here, you want to go from here, 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 here. The reason why we do this is to make sure that when we're torquing the wheel onto the car, it goes on nice and square and it doesn't warp your discs. Now you may not have one on the side of the road, so I definitely recommend doing it after. You may just have the tire iron, but at some point, as soon as possible, is you want to get a torque wrench and then torque the actual nuts to the right specification. Easy to find this information out. Just jump on Google and Google your car and then wheel torque specs, and it should come right up. Alright, step 15, we're almost done. It's time to reinstall the center cap of the wheel. You can see that the spare doesn't have one, and maybe yours does. For some reason this one doesn't. Super easy. So all we need to do here is just grab our tire iron, use the bottom of it, gently tap it from the inside, and it should pop right out. Once it pops out, it's just a matter of grabbing it. As you can see here, it's just a simple little spring wire on the inside, located on the spare wheel here, and then just punch it into place. Alright, so spare tire on the car, torqued into place, you're ready to go. Next step is just to put all the tools back into the little box, nice and perfectly neatly, as you can see I'm doing here. Pop it all back in the trunk along with the spare wheel, and you are good to go.
We hope you found this guide useful, and if you did, hit the old like button to let us know. All the notes are in the description, so if you'd like a paper copy of what we've gone through, simply cut and paste. Feel free to leave any questions in the comment section, share with anyone you think might find this useful, and of course, subscribe for more videos just like this one.